Hi, today I'm going to talk about the Tencent Cloud Firewall. So talking about the firewall on the cloud, right? So the first thing coming into your mind is definitely, for example, WAF, right? For example, anti-DDoS solutions. But over here, I'm going to talk to you about the Tencent Cloud Firewall that is also the mandatory components to secure your workloads on the cloud. Right, so basically they are protecting your environment from different vectors. So there are certain attacks that can be addressed by the WAF, there's certain attacks that can only be addressed by our Tencent Cloud Firewall. So first of all, let me brief you through those key features of our Tencent Cloud Firewall, and later I'm going to bring you into those like use cases. So first is the asset identifications or classifications that we know that from the network perspective, what kind of assets having the internet access, what kind of assets don't have the internet access but have the access within the VPC, or those assets is only allowed a private access, right? And also from the network layer, from the network perspective, we're going to tell you that what kind of vulnerabilities that your network is already having, and also the access control, right? East, west, north, south, fine-grained access control can be deployed by the cloud firewall, not just limited to the VPC or the inter-VPC, right? But also on the net gateway layer, the internet edge layer, and also intrusion protection, the signature-based protection is also a key features that is offered by the Tencent Cloud Firewall, and also the patching job will be done by our Tencent Cloud team, right? So whenever CVE or vulnerability is detected, the virtual patching could be done just within a few hours. It's pretty swift and immediate. And in terms of the threat intelligence, basically Tencent Cloud Security team kept their own threat intelligence DB. Basically, will get get updated on a real-time basis. So basically, it keeps a record of those like malicious domain name, URLs, IPs. So you will get constantly updated and pushed to our firewall in order to get them blocked in real time. And also, we give you the full visibilities of those like traffic logs and also the audit trails and the threat analysis, right? So whenever a threat is detected, they're going to give you the full analysis of the threats, what's the attack source, what's the vulnerability the attack is targeting. So next, I'm going to talk about those like best practices when we combine all those useful security solutions together, right? So here we have the cloud firewall, we have the anti-DDoS, we have the security group, we have the WAF, right? So let's take a look at this diagram from the VPC here, right? So basically on top of the VPC, there's a different type of the workloads. It could be, for example, the web application that is in on the container. It could be the database, right? So the first layer for protection is definitely from the security group, right? So basically, from that you can define the ACL to allow certain user to access certain assets or certain resources to be accessed from, for example, from the outside. Right, and the next layer will be the WAF and the CFW, which is the cloud firewall. So for WAF, it's dedicated for protecting those web applications, for example, to detect those OWASP top 10 threats. And also for C-Firewall, basically that is to use to protect those non-WAF related kind of protections. For example, I want to protect my database, or I want to protect, for example, the specific platforms like the big data analyst platforms or specific DB, for example, the Oracle DB, right? So with them, right, or on the, for example, the access layer, so on the edge, that we have the anti-DDoS solutions to protect you against, for example, those volumetric DDoS attacks, and also those like layer 7 DDoS attacks. Right, so basically this gives you the overview of how we can combine these three solutions together to give you holistic protections of all different kind of workloads that you have. And apart from that, talking about the outgoing traffic, right? So we can also implement our cloud firewall side by side with the net gateway. And over here, right, we are basically inspecting the traffic, not just limited to the outgoing, but also the incoming. And also, most importantly, we are detecting those like malicious communications, just in case your host is compromised, or it becomes a botnet, right? The botnet will establish the malicious communications or hidden or encrypted communication with the outside hacker. So for those kind of botnet communications can be detected by the word CFW as well. So basically that wraps up for my introduction. Hope it's helpful. Thank you very much.